You know, when we think about an inquiry from a prospect or a consumer or even a past client, we can sometimes forget that the initial inquiry is just that. They're inquiring to ask questions, meaning that the prospect or the client or whomever is inquiring on your service or your product, they are inquiring so that they can learn more. Everyone has their own special way of learning, and that's exactly what we're going to cover in this video today. So when we think about an inquiry, think about prospects giving us a call to sweat us about our price. Maybe they want to sweat us about the interest rate, or they want to sweat us about the fee and compare us and tell us about how every other company is better than our company because their prices are lower. And in all reality, what they're doing is they're more or less acting like a consumer. This is just their defense mechanism. This is their guard. So don't take any offense by it. Don't think that it's aimed directly to you. Just understand that they are inquiring so that they can learn more. And this positions you with authority because now you become the educator. But I want to share with you a few things to consider the next time you're educating your prospect, because this is going to enable you to communicate in a way that's more effective based on their preferred learning method. And what I mean by preferred learning method is that when you think of these three words will apply to you as well. And those three words is kinesthetic, auditory, and so let me give you an example of each. Kinesthetic is someone that wants to actually physically touch or hold the information. An example of kinesthetic are those who prefer to read books versus listen to audiobooks or watch videos. Whereas an auditory learner or audio, they prefer to hear it. These type of learners love podcasts, they love audiobooks. They prefer audiobooks versus reading because they're not necessarily kinesthetic or visual learners. They prefer to hear the information. And then also visual. Visual are individuals who prefer video over audio or prefer video over a book, and they just prefer to see the information that they absorb. And so when we apply this to a sale, how we apply these different methods of learning to the prospects and the consumers that we engage with, you'll know that you're dealing with a kinesthetic learner is when they ask you to mail something to them. Like, oh, I need to hold it in my hand. I deal in real estate services, so I mainly deal out of a call center. It doesn't necessarily apply in my field unless I'm dealing with a prospect who prefers to have something in the mail. So I'll sometimes get that request. It's, you know what, just send me the information in the mail, Daniel. I'll look at it when it comes in. And I may think, as just an inexperienced salesman, that's their way of brushing me off so they can just push me out. But it would be my job and my duty, though, to learn more, right? What other signs can they give me to distinguish them as a kinesthetic learner? Meaning that, what other words are they saying? Like, I have a feeling. That could be a sign that they're kinesthetic. Or I feel that could be kinesthetic learner, just based off their words, their preferred verbiage that they use. Whereas in our auditory learner, they prefer to hear about it. Like, I want to hear more about this information. And this is going to be something that I can excel with because I deal in telesales. So I'm not dealing with someone in person. I'm actually speaking to them over the phone. Most of my communication is done by way of audio. Now, I also deal with individuals who are visual learners, or they prefer visual information, meaning that they want to see it. And these particular people will give signs that they are visual learners because they say, I want to see more about this, or I want to see what you have. I want to see the information on this. And they're telling you this subconsciously because that is their brain's preferred method of learning about information. And so the preferred method to deal with someone who is a visual learner is email. And they prefer to actually look at the information. So even if I'm talking to them over the phone, it doesn't mean that I'm necessarily just shutting them out and saying, okay, if this person prefers visual information, then I'm not going to talk to them on the phone, or I'm not going to send them anything in the mail. What I mean by this, in distinguishing these three types of learning methods or preferred learning methods, is that when it comes down to price, when it comes down to the nuts and bolts of your sales presentation, you're going to understand, as long as you paid attention to the words that they used in the initial conversation, what what preferred method of relaying the information that you need them to understand. So whether you need them to understand in clarity what the benefits are, the results are, the costs, the fees, the offset of fees from the monthly savings, or whatever type of positive impact that you want to relay to your prospects. Now keep in mind that you're going to deal most of the time with screeners, meaning that these are decision influencers. They may not necessarily be the decision maker. And so you can hear that the decision influencer will say these specific things, and typically that's who you want to explain the benefit anyway. But at the end of the day, even when you present the product, present the nuts and bolts and the information of your sales presentation, your cost, your fee, your rate, or what have you, before you go in for the sale, you want to make sure that the decision influencer has the information based on their preferred method of learning. Now you'll pick up signs from the other person, which is the decision maker, at the time of the sales pitch, because then they'll say certain things like, oh, I feel like this is blah, 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 or I want to see more about blah, 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 or let me hear about blah, blah, blah. And this is going to give you a sign of what is their preferred method of learning information. So it's going to take some practice, but this is a very powerful tip. I would strongly recommend that you consider listening more about ways that your prospect or your consumers prefer to absorb the information that you give them. This will in turn save you a ton of time in going over information the wrong way, because you may go over information more auditory versus showing the information, and that could have been just a small adjustment that you could have made to successfully make that sale. So I wish you nothing but the best. I do appreciate your time in visiting this channel today. I want to appreciate you for your support, your likes, your comments, your shares. I see you, those DMs that I'm getting. I appreciate you, and you'll notice that I do respond. If you have any questions or comments about this video or topic, or you'd like to have me go over more details within the content explained, feel free to send me a direct message or email me, daniel@salesremastered.com, or you can leave your notes right below. And if this is your first time visiting Sales Remastered, do consider subscribing and hitting that bell so that way you're notified of any live sessions as well as any upcoming topics in the future. Once they're uploaded, you'll get a little notification stating the topic of that video. And if it can help you make a couple extra sales, then I know it can help you make a couple extra bucks in the process. So I wish you nothing but the best, and I'll see you in the next video.